Yeah, so today we are going to discuss about UI policies and data policies. Write it down. UI policies and data policies. Now keep the heading as UI policies and write it down. UI policies are client-side logic, client-side logic, which which dynamically change the behavior of information on a form, dynamically change the behavior of information on the form, full stop or comma, full stop on the form. It helps to make it helps to make it helps to make fields mandatory, read only, and we can hide or display. Hide or display. Full stop. Next line. We also can run. We also can run client-side scripts. Client-side scripts in UI policies if required. In UI policies if required. I'll repeat again. UI policies are client-side logic which dynamically change the behavior of information on a form. Full stop. It helps to make field mandatory, read-only, and hidden. We also run client-side scripts in UI policies if required. Next line, last line. Based on a condition, we can make multiple fields at the same time mandatory, read only, hiding a field or displaying a field. This is the point which you just need to remember. Based on a condition, we can make multiple fields at the same time, mandatory, read only, and we can hide and display. Okay, so next keep the heading as data policies. And write it down under that. Data policy in ServiceNow. Data policy in ServiceNow. Data policy in ServiceNow is used to apply is used to apply mandatory and read only to all data to all data entered into the system to all the data entered into the system through web services, comma, import sets, etc. Okay, next line. By default, by default, data policies are applied. Data policies are applied are applied to all glide record GLIDE glide record operations to all glide record operations including REST APIs. REST APIs. Including REST API. Okay. So now let us discuss about like in what is UI policy, what is data policy, and we'll go with like in difference between these two. Okay. So let's get started with this. Okay. So UI policy and data policy is something which we are going to work with like in to make a fields mandatory, read only, display, and we can hide the fields based on condition. So let me ask you, what is dictionary and dictionary override? What we did there? What kind of functionality we did there?
It's that it contains the definition of each and every column.
Correct.
And we can do mandatory read only and visible or display in dictionary as well.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, coming to the dictionary override, if you need to do anything mandatory in one table,
Yeah.
then we can go with the dictionary override.
Exactly. Right. That's great. So that's what actually. So there we are going with like in making a field mandatory, read only, or we can hide a field and we can display a field as well, right? In the same way, you might have like a question in dictionary and dictionary, all right. So we are doing a single field at the same time. So what if I want to make a multiple fields at the same time? So we can use UI policy or data policy over here to make multiple fields at the same time, mandatory read only, or we can display and hide a field. Okay. So but here one more thing is like in based on a condition. Let's say example in instant form. So one specific condition is there. So whenever the condition got met, okay, then the rest of the multiple fields, whatever the fields which I have configured, so those fields will be added. These functionality will be added. The mentor making a field mandatory, read only, and hiding and displaying. Okay, so that's how which we are going to utilize it. Okay, so simply UI policy is something, this is a client side logic which we are going to change the behavior of a form. let's say example, if I go with like an incident form, right? So we do have like, and this is a form, right? The information which is available in a form is the fields and the values. Okay, so let me go with the in progress one. Okay, so this is about like this is what something. So there is a condition. Let's say example, the category is software. Okay, so if the category is software, I need to make any field over here mandatory, read only, or rest of the stuff as well. So depending on like in the requirement, which I can go with like in condition, and I can apply these functionalities. So if the condition got met, then it will apply. If not, it won't. That's how which we can make a mandatory read only and hiding a field and displaying a field. Okay, so that's what about like in UI policy. And one more thing, so this will work in a client side, which is nothing but in a web browser or the UI, whatever which you can see right now, right? So that's what we can say it as a UI, web browser user interface, which we call actually. That's nothing but client side. And the data policy will work in a server side as well, along with the client side. This is what something which we work with like in servers, database, and web services and all this. Okay, so that's the major difference between data policy and UI policy. And there is like a few more differences as well. I'll let you know in a few minutes. Okay, so you got an idea, right? So how the what is UI policy? UI policy is something which we work in a form view. It's like in client side, web browser. Okay, so here based on a condition, I can make multiple fields as like in mandatory, read only, and then I can hide and I can go ahead with like in display as well, displaying a field. Okay, so there is a dictionary override which I have done before, I guess. Let me inactivate that because the dictionary description field is like in coming in a mandatory over there. That's not required so far. So after practicing your end, so you can roll back the conditions if you want, or else you can keep it as remain. Okay, so now see, let us go with like an UI policy now to configure. In left navigation menu, the home page of ServiceNow, click on all, then filter, just give UI policies. And in the under system UI, I have UI policies. Open this. How to open? Control and you can click on here, or else right click and open in a new tab. So I prefer in a new tab, so I was going over here, or else simply you can click here and it will come in a home page as well in the content frame. Okay, so I don't prefer this one because this is what something familiar and comfortable for me, so I'll go with like a new tab. Okay, so now see, if you want to remove this one, just click on service now again. Okay, so now let's get into this one. So UI policy. So already we do have like an as a default as a out of the box, we have like in 2292 UI policies in out of the box. And let me tell you what is out of the box and custom. Out of the box is something which is already there in instance. Okay, already there in instance. So whatever the functionalities might be like, and let's say that is like in few fields are mandatory. If you are like, and values are, these are the dummy data we have, demo data we call it. Okay, so this is mandatory, and this is like in already the predefined stuff, right? Priority lookup rules. Okay, so depending on like in my issue, so there is like a related search also there. So whatever the stuff which is available in different tables, not only in instant table, that we call it as a out of the box, which is already there in instance. So we didn't do anything as a prior, so the functionalities are available. That's what we call it as a out of the box. Not only this concept, whatever the concept might be in a whole instance, which we have like in all the applications and modules, right? Everything which is available as a prior already, which is there, that we call it as out of the box. And if I go with like in custom is something we worked on, we did. whatever it might be, configurations or customizations or whatever it might be, we worked on. So wherever we worked, then that is a custom thing. Let's say example, in here we have like and see 2292, right? So here, if I add on like a few more UI policies, if I create it, okay, so the rest of it too is like in the custom thing which we worked on. Okay, so which we involve into like in customizations and configurations or some implementations as well. So that we call it as a custom. Okay, so which is already there in ServiceNow is that we call it as a out of the box. Now the question comes here, how to identify whether that is out of the box or the custom. Okay, so if it is like in tables and fields, which I can show you very clearly. Okay, so if there is like in custom table or else if there is like in custom field. Okay, so if it is like an out of the box, in the prefix of a backend value, we do have a backend values, right, for everything. Okay, so prefix will be direct value will be there. Direct name of a table or direct field name of a table will be there. If it is like in custom, prefix will be u underscore. U underscore will be added everywhere whenever you create a table of fields. Let's say example, the incident table. So here see u underscore is not available before incident. So if you created a table, then u underscore your table name will come up. Okay, and the backend value of a field, let's say example, here it is a assignment underscore group. Right. So if I create an extra field to this table, then it will show as u underscore assignment group, u underscore with a field name. Okay, so here the direct value will come and here u underscore and the value. So here value is nothing but name of a table or name of a field, anything. Okay, so whenever you see like in prefix as a u underscore, then you just need to identify that this is custom thing, which we did it. Okay, without like and without these things, whenever you see like an all direct name is available, then that is out of the box, which is already there in our instance. Okay, so now let's move to like an UI policies. So here you go. In the top right corner, there is a new button. Just click on new. Okay, so based on like in one condition, we will make fields as mandatory read only and all this. Okay, so it's like in loading and this is a UI policy. The backend value of this is sys underscore UI underscore policy. Okay, so this is a new record actually. Okay, let that come up. It's loading. We do have here these options. Okay, so here we have a table, right? So just select the table in which table you are going to apply the UI policy. You can apply every table, whatever the table which is available in ServiceNow. So any table you can apply. Okay, so let's say example, here let's go with like an incident. As we are familiar with like an incident, just type the incident here and you will get like an. So this is the display value of a table and this is a in bracket we have, right? So here the square braces wherever we see this is a backend value of the table. Okay, just click on this and then here see application and active, we know about it already. Application is something which is a global thing which will apply for whole instance, and active is nothing but if I want to make this UI policy work in incident table, then I will make it as an active. If I want to make it as an active, this should not work in incident table. Let's say example, I worked on this UI policy and this is no longer needed. I can inactivate this instead of deleting it. Okay, in future if there is like a similar requirement which is there, if with a few changes, then I can activate this and I can make it as make those changes and then I can utilize the same thing. Okay, and here the short description which we are going to add the purpose of or else what's the requirement of using this. So instead of like and going to all the configurations which we are gonna do, just we read this sentence to identify what's the purpose, what they are doing with this by using UI policy. Okay, so here we can go ahead with like an based on color or category. We make mandatory or read only anything. So make it as a shorter. Okay, so that's how it will be actually. So the lesser text will be over here is like an is a best practice which I can say. Okay, so we should not go with like in lines and lines together. No need to go with this. Okay, just make it as a sweet and short. So based on like in color, we can make mandatory or read only. We can make changes. Okay, in that way which you can go ahead. Okay, in your real time projects, you can go ahead with like in based on your requirement. Okay, and if I scroll down, see, I have a two tabs here, when to apply and script. So let me go with like in when to apply now. Okay, so here I have a conditions. So that's what which we discussed, right? Based on a condition, we can make a multiple fields at the same time, mandatory, read only, and hide and display. Okay, so let me go ahead with this. So here the condition might be like an anything. So as of now, I'm going ahead with like an caller. Okay, caller is someone else. Let's say example, we are familiar with like in Fred Lurdy, right, from yesterday. So let me go with like in this man. Okay, so if the caller is Fred Lurdy, okay, I can go with like in few more conditions as well if required, or condition or unconditioned. So whenever the condition got satisfied, okay, whenever the caller is Fred Lurdy over here, okay, or else any other person is also if you can add on here in the condition, but as of now which I have used it regularly. Okay, so this is the condition. If this condition satisfy, then the further things whatever which I'm going to configure will apply to the incident table in a form view. Okay, so let me scroll down and check it out like in these four options available over here. See, I have a global. So global is nothing but let's say example, we do have a multiple views over here, right? Okay, so if I want to apply my UI policy to all the views, then I can set it as a global. If not, just uncheck this one, and if it is like an only for specific view, then I can select that view from here and I can apply that. Okay, so we can make it as like in global or specific view as well. Okay, depending on like in your requirement. If it is for like an only for you, you can go with the view option, or else it can be applied for like in global. Okay, and the next thing we do have a onload. Onload is nothing but whenever we load the form, whenever we change the value, whenever we load the form, then this should work. Okay, so then I can go with like and I can check this onload. Okay, and the reverse if false is nothing but if this condition is not gonna met. Okay, the previous things will be available, right? Let's say example, if I make any field read only, and before making this read only, it was mandatory before. So if this is not gonna satisfy the condition, then the previous condition will apply. The previous functionalities will work. Okay, and here see we have a inherit as well. Inherit is something, let's say this is an incident table, right? So here just need to apply this functionality to other tables as well, like problem change and all this, just like in child tables of all the child tables. Okay, then I can click on this inherit, and this is what one of our interview question also which they will ask you. I have created, this is a scenario actually, so I have created one UI policy with the name of incident table. Okay, so I just need to apply the same condition and with the same actions of functionalities to make a mandatory and read only with the other table like problem and change as a child table as well. So they will ask you, do I need to create another UI policy for problem table, or how we need to do, they will ask. Simply just answer them. We do have like an inherit option. If we check this option, okay, then it will apply for like a rest of child tables as well. Okay, so that's how which we can utilize this and then save the form. Now as of now which we have done with like in giving a condition. So based on a condition we have selected the table and I have given a condition here. Okay, and now this part is like in left. So making a multiple fields as mandatory, read only, all this, just scroll down. After saving the form, scroll down, and here see I have a UI actions, UI policy actions as well, and UI policy related list actions. So we don't need to go with like in related list actions. Related list actions is nothing but, if I scroll down, see I have here related list, right? So here, so if I want to make anything over there, then I can go with like in related list actions. And then simple thing which we do over here is UI policy actions. UI policy actions is nothing but in a form view. So until here to here, we will, this thing will work. Related list, related links, above the related links. Okay. And one more thing here, if I scroll back, see here I have a script as well. So if I click on like and run script, so I can go ahead with like in condition, if is execute true, if the condition is like in satisfied, then the script whatever which I wrote over here will work. If the condition is like a not gonna satisfy, then this will work. Okay, so in that way, which we can write script and you can execute that as well. Okay, so we do have that option as well. You can go ahead, and here say UI policy actions, just click on new, and here see the UI policy description is coming up over here as a UI policy name, and then the table which we have given already, and then application which is default, it will go with global. Okay, so now we have to go ahead with like in field name, in which field name you have to make a field mandatory, visible and read only. And here see clear the field value. So whenever we are going to set this one, okay, whenever this condition got met, the previous value whatever was there will be cleared. Okay, so let me go ahead with like in any field, let's say what can we do here, description field, which we can, whenever I click on here, we do have three options: leave alone, true and false. If I want to make a mandatory as true, then make it as true. Okay, and click on submit. See, whenever I'm clicking on submit, it redirected to the before page. If I click on save, it will remain in the same page. Okay, that's the difference between submitting and click saving. Okay, so now one thing is like in done, description which I made as true. And one more thing, we'll go with like in some other field as well. Let's say example, configuration item. Okay, so this also will make mandatory, submit it. Okay, and let's say example, there is a fields called, why this is coming up is nothing but this is a reference field, that's why it's showing us like in this mark to identification, for identification. Let's say by I just need to change the values later. Let's say example, I make this description as like in mandatory, and I need to make it as like in read only now. So what I can do, double tap over here. So this will apply for like in all the things, make it as like in false or leave alone. Okay, so now read only, double tap over here and make it as true. So now what we are doing, so this description which we are making as a read only, and then the CMDB CI is nothing but configuration item which we are making it as a mandatory. So see here we are getting here the backend value of a field. Okay, so you can change the values by clicking over here, and here also you can change it. Okay, and whereas here you just need to go ahead with like in this thing. Okay, so I just getting like in, there is a multiple UI policies the same order. Okay, so let's go with like in some other stuff then. For CI we do have like in multiple UI policies, right? So that should not collide with like in each other. Okay, so let me go with like in assignment group, or else assigned or anything is fine. You can go ahead with like in anything, but better go with like in the field which you are aware of. See, if I click on the save button, I'm getting a, I'm staying in the same page. If I want to go back, I need to click on a back button or else it will not. Okay, so still it's coming, no problem. Let's check it. So now if I refresh it, the changes whatever which I have given. See, still I have like in, as it is a reference field, I'm getting this one. So I'm making a assignment group as true and then description as read only. Let's say, let us check this one. So what's the condition? If the caller is Fred Lurdy. If the caller is Fred Lurdy, assignment group should be mandatory. And then what we did over here, description should be read only. Okay, so refresh the page or also just go with like another record as well. See, I got this assignment group as mandatory. Okay, and then description is read only. I cannot edit it as the condition is spread learning. If I change the value, let's say if now the condition is not gonna met. Now see, it's not mandatory and this is editable. I can change the value as it is not read only. If I go with like in Fred Lurdy, okay, whenever the condition got satisfied, now it's mandatory here and here the description is read only. Okay, so that's how which we work with like in UI policy. So UI policy is something which we work with like in client side. We can make a changes in the form by making a field mandatory, read only and hide and display based on a condition. Okay, so we can make multiple fields at the same time, mandatory, read only and all the functionalities. Okay, so now let me go with like in data policies and we'll show you how that will work, and later I'll go with like a difference between these two. Okay, so what's the difference between, so the functionality is like in same, right? Making a field mandatory and read only over here. Okay, so we'll go and check it out the difference between these two as well. So to do that, so in left navigation menu, just type it out like in data policies. Under system policy, we have data policies, right? Open this and click on new. And there is one more option called converting from data policy to UI policy also. If I scroll down, see related links, I have a convert this to data policy. If I have a same, if I want to go with like a same condition and that should work for like in data policy as well, then I can click on convert this to data policy as well. Okay, then the same things will apply, but except like in one thing, everything will be like an added. That's what about like in visible option will not be available in data policy. Only mandatory and read only is there. Okay, so that's what I didn't give like in this before. So if I click on this one, okay, the previous data policy UI policy will be made, make it as like an inactive, and now this is active. See here, I'm in a data policy now, sys underscore data underscore policy. Okay, so if I scroll down, so the short description is added. Okay, the options whatever is added, the caller is Fred Lurdy and the actions also added. Description is read only and assignment group is mandatory. It's already added. So that's how we can convert data to UI and UI to data as well. See, in data policy also we have convert this to UI policy, and the before one whatever which we did will be remain as inactive and the new one will be act as a active one. Okay, so let me go with like in the new record also, which we can go ahead. Okay, so you can give like in the table over here, incident. Okay, let me go with like in the options available over there. Okay, so here we have a, yeah.
Can you change another table like problem table or any other thing, not instant table?
Yes, we can. It will apply for like an everything, but we are familiar with like an all the fields available in instant table, right? So it will be easy for you guys. So that's what I'm giving la incident again and again. If you are good with like in the concepts and all, okay, then you can try with the other tables as well. So the main concern over here is nothing but you just need to grab the concept. What's the purpose of the a concept over here? Okay, so if you're good with like in the concept with 100%, then you can apply with like in different tables as well. Let's say if I go with like in some other table, that also will work. Let me go with that as you requested. So let me go with like in problem table. I just need to get a fields from there, right? And remember one thing, whenever I'm converting from data to UI and UI to data, that should be in the same table. Okay. So let me go with like an all and open one record. So here see there is like in first reported by is the field, as we do have a caller as before. Okay, so let's take with this field as a condition, and we have a assignment group and description as shown as before. Okay, so here you can change the existing one as well, or else you can make it as a new one too. If the reported by is, let me make it as like a short is someone. Let's say example level tutor now. Okay, and then the same thing, assignment group, and we will go with like a description. Okay, so you can elaborate in description if you want anything. Okay, and the same thing, let me go with like in these three. Apply to import sets. So we do have like an import sets concept. So whenever I want to update bulk amount of records into ServiceNow, okay, then I can utilize like in sheets as well. It's like an Excel sheets and all. By using import sets, I can apply that. So if I want to apply this data policy to that to import sets, then I will check this one. Okay, and then apply to SOAP. So SOAP is something the integration web services actually. If I want to make that as well available, then I will make it as check. Okay, and use as UI policy on client side. If I want to convert this from like a data to UI as well, then I will check this one. Okay, and the condition is nothing but requested for, right? First reported by is, let's say, just take any user. Here I'm getting like a task. 1 second. So this is a task table which I'm getting over here. Let me go with like in some other stuff category. If the category is, let's say software, okay, save the form. And here we do have like a data policies rules. Just click on new and select the problem field. Let's say assignment group, read only. I'll go with like a mandatory only. As you are familiar with this, just click on submit. Now the next thing, just let me add like in one more field as well. We have a description. And read only, true. Submitted. So now if I open this, the category is, what was the condition which I mentioned over here? Category is software. So if I refresh the page, see the assignment group is like in star, mandatory came up, and description also read only. So it will apply for like in all the tables, not only problem, incident or anything. It will apply each and every table which table has a records. Okay, so no need to worry about like in what about like in another table whether it's work or not. So the concepts whatever which we are discussing in our training, okay, everything will be worked with like in another tables as well. So the reason why I'm giving like an instant table is nothing but you will get like an idea regarding, you are aware of like in all the fields available in the incident table, so that it will be easy to be getting better understanding every day. If I'm changing like in different tables every day, okay, getting a understanding about like in the fields and everything, so it will take a lot of time to grab the concept. So if it's like a familiar thing for you, then it will be easy to grab the concept first, and then if you can practice well, then you can do a lot of experiments with the different tables as well later if you're good with the concept. So that's the reason which I'll go with like an only incident as a demonstration, practical demonstration. I'll go with this because you're familiar with this, and we do have a incident management, problem change, request management as well concept. So there I'm going to give full-fledged details regarding the incident. Each and every field I'm going to explain how we are going to create an incident and everything. Then you will be more aware of about like an incident table, and it will be easy to understand the concept first. Then you can do a lot of experiments later with different tables. Okay, so now this is what about like in the problem table which I have did for the data policy as well. So this is working over here, right? So let's say example, let me go with like, and now we have created one UI policy and one data policy as well with a condition, with the same condition which I can say similarly almost. So now let me go with like a difference of these, and we'll show you the difference whether that's there or not. Okay, so if you want to write, you can go ahead as well, because this is a interview question which they will ask very frequently in interviews. Okay, so difference between UI policies and data policy they'll ask. Okay, the first chain difference is nothing but this work in a client side, which is nothing but in a form view web browser. It's like it will work in a UI. Okay, and data policy, it will work in a server side, as we do have a import sets and integration kind of stuff as well. So this we call it as a server side, it works. Okay, and the second thing, here we have a mandatory, read only, and hide and display, right? And here the second option we have only, did you observe that one? We have here only mandatory and read only. Okay, so this is what one of a difference we have. And the third difference, it will work in the form view. And here it works even in list view as well. I'll show you that. Okay, and the fourth one, we can convert UI to data. And here we can convert data to UI. So the main difference you can tell them like in these first 3 points should be like in mandatory. UI policy will work in the client side and data policy will work in a server side as well. Okay, here we have like in these three options. Here we have only these two. Okay, and here it will work in a form view. It works in list and form both. Okay, and we can convert the UI to data, and we can convert to like in data to UI as well. Okay, so that's how vice versa, which we can do whenever we are converting from one type to other type. We just need to check on like in two things. One is like in whether that is in a same table or not, and the second thing, whether do we have any other extra functionalities like hiding and displaying the fields and all these things. Okay, so that's about like a difference between UI policy and data policy. So let me show you that as well. So in data policies, see here I have only these two, mandatory and read only. If I open this, here I have only these two. Whereas if I go with like an UI policy, okay, so just scroll down after when it comes. See here I have like an visible option as well. I'm in the UI policy. Okay, so here I have this as well. Okay, this is what one is cleared. I have showed you the second point, and this one and this one the same time, which I can showcase. So see the UI policy which I have showed you before in an form you, right? So if I go with like in the problem table, so this is a mandatory assignment group is mandatory. What if I make this as like an empty in the list view, and will show you. So if I make this as empty, so this should not be empty, right? What's the condition over here? Category is software. So the condition should satisfy. Let me bring the category from there to here. Yeah, here you go. We keep it here. So if the category is software, assignment group should not be empty. That's the condition, right? So let's say, let me change the, just leave out like an existing values. Okay. So if it is like in software, if you click on like in the tick mark, see the following fields are mandatory assignment group. So I got this one, right? So it's not allowing me to change the value as well. So now still it was like in like network only. So it's working in even in a list view. But whereas if I go to like an UI policy, it will not impact over there. So you can check from your end later. And we do have like in it will work in if this as well is done, and we can convert this from UI to data and data to UI as well. I have showed you that. Okay, and this is what something the client side and this is server side, right? So in data policy we have a options called apply import sets and apply to SOAP as well. So this is the one of a thing which will apply even for the server side as well. Instead of like an only in a form view, it we can apply this. Let's say example, I'm importing few data. Let's say in incident table, I'm from importing like in just like you're good with like an incident and problem as well. Okay, so now let's go with like in updating 4 records. Let's say example, I'm giving a category as software, and the assignment group is like an empty while importing a data. Okay, it will not insert because the UI policy is applying over there. So we'll get the error as well. Okay, there is like in history, while importing, import history will be available there. We can check it, how many records got inserted, how many got skipped, and how many got error ignored and everything. So from there we can check it up. Okay, so it will apply even in a server side as well. So that's how one is like, can it work in a UI policy, it work in a client side, data policy, it work even in the server side as well. And whereas here we have 3 and here we have 2, and this work in a form view, this work in like a list and form view, and we can convert this as like in vice versa, UI to data and data to UI as well. Okay, so now let me go with like an questions. And let me know if there is any new joinees. I think no one. Yes, yeah. Emmanuel and Kimi both are same. I see Emmanuel is like a new joinee. Let me know if you are new or you need to rename it or what. Okay, you can ping me in the chat box as well, no problem. I'll go with the questions. Any questions so far in the UI policy and data policy? And as an assignment, just take it as like in the condition with the 2 conditions or 1 condition also fine, it's no problem. So I was due to like in time constraints, I'm just taking as like in only 1 condition over there. So just take it as like in categories hardware and caller is like in Abraham Lincoln. Okay, and apply all these things and check it up in a instant form. And if you are okay with that, you can go with the problem and you can do that as well. So just do this for like an UI policy and convert it to like a data policy and check whether that's working or not. Okay, so take this as like a task for Monday, and before Monday just finish it. And from Monday we are going to start from like in the concept which is really important. Okay, so these 2 weeks which I was like, and the new joinees will be there, so I was taking like in only the concept which is like in simple concepts which is very easy to understand even if you go to the videos as well. Okay, so from Monday onwards, we are going ahead with like in incident management, problem change, and then creating tables, and we'll go with like an update sets, and we'll go one by one. Okay, so as of now, which we have finished these 4, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then first 5 is done, and dictionary or right lookup rules is done. So I kept this as like an whole because it's like a very important, and late joinees also should not miss this class. So that's what I have kept it in whole, and even this as well. Okay, so even this too. So these 3 is like really important. We just need to focus on. Then we'll go with like in one by one. Okay, Yeah, guys. So if no queries on this, then we will wrap up for today and we'll meet on the next class will be on Monday. As tomorrow is like in weekend tomorrow and day after tomorrow is like in Saturday and Sunday weekend. Okay, so we'll meet the next day on like in Monday. Okay, 15th May we do have like a next class. And before this, just start preparing and start practicing all these things and we will discuss like a next concept from next Monday. Okay.
Priya,
Yes.
can you show us the list view?
Sure.
We are changing in a personal settings now. It is changed for everyone, right?
Yes, yes, of course it will. Of course. Personal list columns is nothing but what kind of fields which I just need to showcase in the list. I can change, let's say the end of a thing I have a update and updated by. So I can remove this as well. See, no, that two will not be available now after the refresh. If I want that, I can add. I can go with like the positions as well. The category I need this as like in the third one after the subcategory. So now it's like in different one, right? So if I click here, the category will come after the subcategory. Category, subcategory. So it will apply for everyone. It's
It's
our
not a problem for everyone.
sorry.
It
I
is a
mean,
problem for everyone. If I change it, if I want it to change it, it is problem for everyone, right?
no, it will apply for you only. No, you're not going to, just you're setting up like in which kind of field you just need to track on over here. It won't be like a problem. If they want, they will change it. Your view is different, your login is different, and their login is different, right? So here we do have like an option called enable one thing, enable list edit. So if you uncheck this one, so it will not. Okay, that's not a problem. If they want, they can. This personalizer list is something, whatever the fields which I just need to filter on. Let's say I just need to check on like in based on a caller, I need to check on like in the priority or state or assignment group or something else. Okay, so the recommended thing or else the depending on like an requirement, I just need to check something. So only those fields, whatever which I just need to check it, that in a list format, then I will do that so and I can check that one. So then I'll go ahead. So see here, here the main fields, whatever which we use over here is like in color, category, a number. Anyhow, it should be there. Okay, see the service offering, CI, service, and few fields are there which is empty mostly. So which we can hide those things, and then the important field data, whatever which I just need to check on, only those fields which I can showcase over here in the list view by clicking over here and which you can go ahead. So it won't be a problem. We are just moving here and there. We are not deleting a data or which you're not doing anything. Just for like a display purpose, we are using this one. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
One more thing in UI
Sure.
policy, we have the scripted, right?
Yes. If the requirement demands
Uh,
more than this, okay, so we can write a script depending on like in conditions and we can go ahead. Most probably, yeah. We no need to go with like in script in the UI policy. If the requirement is like in beyond to these actions, then we'll go with the script that is a client script only. Okay, we can do it like in client scripts as well later. That is a different thing which we'll discuss in a scripting concepts. We do have an option that too. Fine. All clear?
Fine.
Yeah, fine then, guys. Thank you for joining and have a good weekend. Enjoy well and practice too. Okay, take care then. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.